go.
All right, we should be back on. So here's what we have. What we're going to do is something I'll call zone healing. It's a way to heal people in a lot of different ways. So I'm going to have the opportunity to fix one or two or three or many of you, and those of you that are online, you'll get to experience the healing as well. So I'm just going to go through it, and however it happens, it happens. So I'm looking for somebody that has an issue that they would like to fix, a problem that they have that hasn't resolved. You really need it to disappear. It could be physical, it could be emotional, it could be anything at all that you want assistance in helping. So who here has an issue that you'd like me to work on? Anybody here? It's going to be a real early night. We'll start.
All right.
Where we go?
Miss Monica.
What motion? Okay. So, are you okay to be open and this be on recording and share?
Sure.
Okay, so I'll guide you through it, okay? You want to be more specific on what the emotional thing is that you would like help with?
Sure. It deals with stress, depression, anger.
Oh, let me get the, you have the thing?
Am I speaking loud enough?
You are, but she's going to give you a mic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
Is that what you mean? Just
Yeah,
expressing?
we'll work through it, okay? So repeat just what you said.
I need assistance with overcoming emotional stress as a result of anger and depression.
Okay. So be thinking, while you are all in the audience and online, areas where you have been struggling with anger and depression. Because when we do this with her, it's a fix for everybody. We've just spent an hour and a half together. We have a nice little unit, a nice composite together. So this is not just for her, it's a collective healing. And you will be moved, and you will be healed to whatever extent you allow it to heal. So now let's define this better. What specifically do you want to handle, the anger or the depression? Which one you want to handle most right now?
Anger.
Anger. Okay, now let's get specific. Angry about what? Or who? Who first has made you angry?
Family members in my past that are no longer here,
Okay.
that I did not get a chance to approach
Okay.
and share why I was angry with you.
Okay. So we're holding guilt. Because you were angry and they passed and you're now stuck with the guilt and you can't get it off and tell them. Okay. You ready to tell them?
Yes.
All right, come over here, lay face down on the table. We have that little speaker. I don't know what it means when it's flashing. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's weak. But
It's still picking up. So.
go ahead. All right, so now, what's interesting is we have, think about this, that anger at a close friend or family member that they've now passed, or they've moved away, or they moved on in life, and you never got to make things right. That hits home for a lot of people. Now, give me one family member specifically, the one that you most feel guilty about. Which one is you feel most guilt about that you did not get to make things clear?
Uncle.
Uncle. Okay, we have an uncle. Now, I want you to go to a moment where you recall you and your uncle being at odds and anger was expressed. I want you to go to that moment that you can remember, go to that moment where you and your uncle were angry at each other. You let me know when you found it. Okay. When was this?
when I was when I was 16.
Okay.
We were standing outside my grandmother's apartment, and he tried to give me some advice, and I didn't want to hear what he had to say, receive what he had to say, because he never showed himself to be an adult, to be present, to share any words of encouragement or advice until that day.
So you're there at that moment?
Yes.
Okay. What I'm doing is I'm just getting her present to recall back what happened at that moment. Because in that moment, that's where the concept developed. In that moment is where she made a decision that's changed the course of her health and the guilt from that moment. So I'm just bringing it back up so she can be aware of what happened. Right, now I'm going to check. There's 6 zones, 6 regulatory brain centers. I'm looking to see which brain center went out of balance in that moment. Okay? Yeah. See, it brings all that back up. But we're going to squash it. It's going to be gone, and there's going to be a whole new respect. And instead of her feeling guilty, she'll feel love when we're done with this. All right, you tell me which one of these spots is most tender. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1. That's her glandular system. That handles all the glands. That's our sex and creative urge. That's where we have family dynamics in there. So that affects pineal gland for sleep, thyroid gland for metabolism and blood pressure, salivary glands for digestion, pancreas for digestion and blood sugar balance. We're talking about the ovaries for a lot of the hormone and sex function, adrenal glands for stress management, and sweat glands, many glands. So that whole system has been altered over the course of time because she has a perception that she created more problem. She feels bad because she didn't get to make things right. True?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what's the thing that made you most angry?
He didn't know how to show me natural love.
And if he would have shown you the love that you think, what did you think he should have done?
Protected me.
Protected you. Protect you from what? Or from who?
From him.
Okay. So he should have, what's the action he should have? Protection what way? How should he have protected you?
Showed a natural love instead of violating me.
And what does natural love look like?
I would say not cause harm to me and protect me from himself and from anybody else hurting me.
Okay. Right. Now, if he would have protected you that way, if he would have shown you love the way you desired it to be shown, if he would have did all the things that you think he should have did, if he did all of that like you imagined he should have, how would him doing that be a disadvantage or a drawback for you from that moment all the way to now?
I think I would have been too trusting with others. I would not have held my guards up and tried to defend or protect myself.
See, what I'm doing here is she perceives that her uncle, what he did was bad. because she thinks what he should have did was something different than what he did. What I'm doing is changing her perception to see if he would have did what she thought he was supposed to do, that would still be a disadvantage. Because we have a fantasy that life should be positive, not negative, supportive, not challenging. So in our mind, we think that somebody should have did this, and if they would have did this, my life would have been better. But guess what? Had he did exactly what you wanted to do, your life wouldn't have been better, it would have been different. And everything that you learned from that moment till now has to disappear. All the lessons that you learned from that would have to disappear, and all the lives that you've helped from that moment till now would all have to be gone and done away with, because we undid that event. So what's another benefit, or what would be another drawback to you if your uncle did exactly what you wished he would have done? How would have that been a destructive thing for you had he did what you thought he should?
I think I would have been more gullible, because I would have given over or given in to men.
So you're saying that from that moment on, you now had your awareness up and you were able to protect yourself from the enemy and the adversary and other people. Yeah. Did you feel that? Do you feel that shift, that uncle taught her a lesson, gave her a life lesson at a very young age, so that she would never again be exploited, mentally or physically? And we never think about that part. Now, what was a benefit of your uncle doing those things to you? Not loving you like you desire to be, not protecting you, violating. What was a benefit to your uncle doing that to you in your life and from that moment all the way till now?
He told me not to marry anyone or date anyone like him. So.
Wow.
Wow, that's pretty
That's
stellar
awesome.
advice.
Yeah.
And that stuck, didn't it?
It did.
And you see who you're married to now?
Yes.
And is that not more ideal?
Yes.
You think you would have that man that you have now if you didn't go through what you went through? Did you not think that you picked the ideal person, the ideal godly man that you needed to be a man of the house?
Yes.
Your uncle told you a lesson, physically and verbally, and told you, do not venture into men that treat you like I do?
Yeah.
Are you grateful for that?
I am.
Yeah. See, we're changing the perception in the brain that says that event was bad because of moral hypocrisy. Moral says that that's bad and the opposite's good. But had she not went through that trial in life, she couldn't experience the life she has now. So do you want to give up the life you have now?
Yeah.
Well then, yeah, you'd have to, if you undid that life then you got to undo the life you have now. We're just changing the chemistry. Her glandular system was destroyed in that moment. The hormones, physical, the mental abuse, at that moment we label abuse, but we couldn't see the benefit to it, how it was going to make us stronger later, build our spiritual character, make us who we are, and seek self-mastery. She's been on a quest, what little bit I know about, she's on a quest for self-mastery, self-improvement, self-fulfillment, because parts of her feel that it's unfulfilled because she thinks what happened to her is guilt and shame that she allowed this stuff to happen, and it wasn't. It serves. So the moment her brain starts shifting perception, the chemistry changes and her glandular system comes back online, and then I'll reset it, and that guilt will be highly less. She'll have appreciation, more appreciation for her uncle than she ever had. And she'll say, thank you, I love you because the lessons you taught me gave me the life I had now. Instead of what she thought he did and how now he's gone and she can't make peace. But now she's making peace right now because it's only harbored within her. She's the one that's living with it. What's another great advantage that came out of that event with your uncle that you're grateful for now, and it's a testimony?
That I have a life and a husband that I can trust, I can communicate with, I can take advice from, and not have to worry about him doing anything that's going to hurt me or violate me in any way.
protect you like no other man will.
He does.
And I've met this man.
He's great.
He's a beautiful man and a big man.
He is a big man.
Big handsome man. But you don't want him to grab you. So I'm going to reset your glandular system. This is the beginning of a healing. There's a lot more I could do here, but it's a good start. So all of you, those of you that are online, those of you here, do you have a similar story or something that comes to mind? Just shake your head if you go, yeah, there's something that comes to mind, that you have a similar event in life, and you go, yeah, that kind of fits. And it changes your awareness about what past events that we feel guilty and shameful for, because it serves later. But no one's taught you that. We are taught that that's bad and that's good. But when you understand the laws and how the universe works, there cannot be a good or bad. It's the moral attitudes that make things good and bad. But we can't see how God uses them for serve. Too much judgment, and judgment creates sickness in the body. She came to me with her survey and said, I got all this stuff, everything but the smoking. She desires healing, and that's why she's on this. So since she is a patient, I'm gonna physically adjust her. So that's no problem. So I want you to turn over on your back. Thank you for sharing. That's just the pores. That's just the pores opening up, huh?
Yeah. Eliminating.
Eliminating. Let me have your, just relax there. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reset her glandular zone. There's 4 spots I'm gonna adjust. And this will help reset her from that moment where she perceived that her life changed negatively and not positively. So just gentle. Put this down. I'm just gonna give you a little bump. Perfect glandular health, restoration to your physical body, your mental body, your spiritual body. When I pull this leg, you're gonna feel a release, a burden lifted, and you're gonna have more gratitude for that uncle than you've ever had. And when you sleep tonight, you'll sleep restfully and you'll say thank you for what you've given me. You've given me a gift. You've given me the gift of love and life, and now you can view it from a different point, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Turn this way. Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay, now, I want you to sit up for me. And now, lay back on your tummy. You've got one more thing to check. So there's 4 segments to resetting her glandular zone. It's the first cervical vertebrae, the first thoracic, the first lumbar, and the first sacral. We reset those, it resets all the glands. It resets the creative. She stopped being creative in life because that zone has been squashed. All this time she's been guilt that she can't make right because the person's passed. She never can get reconciliation, but you got it now. And it may not be full reconciliation. We could get it, we spend more time, but it's enough for you to see that there is love and appreciation there, and less guilt. Less guilt means better sleep, less noise in the brain. Okay? I'm just going to press on this spot again and let you tell me how much better that is. That's relief, isn't it? Yeah, yeah. All right. Thank you for sharing. And again, enjoy the restful sleep tonight and the freedom that you got from that little moment. Okay? And later, as you learn more, this will open up more for you and you'll have the freedom you need. You already know. Okay? All right, let me sit up. So, now, those of you in the audience or online, if you felt a shift or you want to make a comment, something you felt, you heard, you realized, I'll give you the mic so you can share, because I think it's important that you validate what just happened here because you felt it. Okay? Who wants to share?
Andrew, did you want to share?
Andrew, you got anything?
Yeah, I just want to say something quick in regards to her putting herself out there. I think vulnerability is a huge thing, and I just want to commend that. And I think that was it was very nice to witness. So I appreciate you. I don't know your name, I apologize, but I just wanted to go ahead and thank you for putting yourself out there and letting us learn off of, maybe the hard times that you're going through. And I think a lot of us can also relate to some of the things that you touched on. But yeah, I just want to go ahead and thank you for going ahead and for volunteering yourself for that.
Very good.
So I had a shift. Oh. I know you know my story a little bit, Dr. Bobbitt. So, but, so I struggle with strong male figures in my life that control me. Not Dr. Bobbitt, but my dad, my grandfather, and then an abusive situation as well. And so I've done a lot of work for concept therapy. I've done a lot of healing. There's still a little thing that came up just now that I thought I had overcome. So thank you, Monica, for allowing me to feel that and get present with it again and allow it to release again. So I'm just grateful for that collective healing that we all have together when we are vulnerable with each other, like Andrew said. So.
Anyone else feel something? You don't have to share if you want to share, but did you feel something as that we're going through that? You could feel something. You can't help it to be in tune as we're one collective group. We just spent an hour and a half together. We spend this time, so it's not just you, it's everybody in the room. Mm-hmm. If we're paying attention, that touched each and every one of us somehow, some way.
And we do this in our concept therapy class, and every Friday evening and Saturday evening, Dr. Bobbitt does some healing on that too.
I don't get to do this in my day-to-day practice as easy because we're busy with
tidful.
treating chiropractic. Now, emotions aren't separate, but that's not logical for the day-to-day person. So when we went through the laws of the body and you comply with those, then I look at the emotion. Right. Anyone else? Yes, Glenda.
Let me get the mic.
I think I yell loud enough.
I guess they're not charge based.
It's not. I just want to say, Monica, is that like what he said, that thank you for opening up so much. What was so beautiful was as you were laying there and as you were coming, as this was coming out and you were bringing it to consciousness, your body was shaking and you could see it shaking. And I looked around and I think all of us were shaking with you. But as the healing was taking place and as those things, you were coming through those different realizations, it just felt like we were all right there with you. We were all feeling that with you and loving you through that. And it was like we were just all as one. And I was grateful to be a part of it. And like Dr. Bobbitt, I've met your husband. He is definitely a protector.
When we understand the laws of the universe and how the laws work, it's not hard to find out what's going on in our life. I can talk loud enough, your computer will pick me up. But we can work through our emotions because we understand how the brain works and how the mind works and how the mind affects our body. It's a science, it's not hard. Even though how do you know that? I'm just using law to help solve a problem and asking really great questions that most people don't know how to ask. So all we do is take the universal laws and put them in question form. And a lot more questions, it's just we could spend a long time to really clear up some stuff. But I wanted to do this as a demonstration. All right, anyone else have something you want me to work on? Yes. You ready? You don't mind being in the audience? Yeah, you can keep it quiet or just all right, face down. No, you want to go ahead and just share what it is first that you want me to work on or help?
I was satanic-fully ritually abused as a kid. And I've already told you, I think I'll tell part of it. Part of what they did was they ended my life 5 times as a kid. Thankfully, God healed that before I was 9. But there is one memory set, and it would just be my grandfather. I want to cry. They did a whole lot of things on this one day. So I was taken in my sleep. I was drugged. I was poisoned. I was held to the floor, and I was challenged for my Christian faith. As a group of them held me to the floor and beat me as I didn't look. And then afterwards, the next bit I'm kind of okay with. They cut me up and write me a whole lot for me.
If you didn't hear, she was satanically abused. I've got to work with her quite a bit over the years, just as a chiropractic patient, but we worked. So that's what she's saying. So there's still something left in that we want to work through.
It's an aspect of my family holding me there to not let me break things like that.
Do you want to work on a certain person or a certain emotion or what?
My grandfather and my uncles and my grandmother.
Okay. All right. So what is it about those people? What's what about them? Is there a resentment? Is there a frustration and anger?
Maybe the word is betrayal.
Okay. On your tummy. So betrayal. Okay. Yeah, face down. Okay. So, now, in a normal chiropractic office, I'm not doing this stuff. Not working this stuff. I can work this outside of the office, but let your head down. You okay with that? I've had the honor of working with her for many, many years. She's been a patient of our office for probably 15 years, on and off, different. But we're going to work betrayal. So go to the moment when you were at that, where they were doing these things to you. I want you to go to a specific moment where you recall your grandfather betraying you. A specific moment where you saw him betraying you. And let me know when you're there.
Just one or
I just want one, and all of you do the same thing. You're going to go to a moment where somebody betrayed you. Okay? I want one moment. I just need one moment.
Okay.
You got it?
Yes.
Okay. You see your grandfather?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Is he to the right of you, the left, up, down? Where is he at in position?
I'm in his lap as he's holding me up.
Okay. You see him. Who else is in the room at that moment that you see?
My uncle, my grandmother, my aunt, and other family members.
Okay, so all of them you see. What's the specific thing he did or was doing that you felt was betraying?
They were jumped to the scene right before it. They put a. It's a little bit weird just saying it publicly.
Okay.
But they put a tool up
Up in your private area?
my private area, and
Okay.
they ripped my intestines down.
Okay. And so what did he do? He did that specifically himself, or he held you?
I was bleeding out in his lap.
Okay, but what did he do that you felt was betrayal? He didn't save you, he held you down, what covered your mouth? What did he do that you felt betrayal physically? What's the action he did?
Be a group.
Well, but what
I thought
did
he betrayed me being a grandfather.
Right, but what action did he do or not do that you felt was betrayal? What should he have done that he didn't do?
Protected me.
Okay. So
Uh,
he didn't protect you, and because of that, you felt betrayed. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. And you still have emotion on that scene?
I do.
Okay. The reason I'm being so adamant is because we don't get the right content and context of the event. We don't know how to work this. I need to know what the action is. What's the specific thing? So, he didn't save her. What he did or didn't do. So he didn't save her. She perceived that he was supposed to save her because he's the grandfather and he didn't. So she translates that as betrayal. Okay. Now, we could go a lot of different directions there, but she has some emotion on it, and that emotion feels like betrayal. Okay? Now, this is a tough one, but I'm going to ask you. I want you to go to a moment in your life where you did something similar. It may not be to the extent that what happened to you, but it was similar. Like somebody was looking for you to save them or help them, and you didn't, and you felt like you betrayed them. Go find any moment in your life where you felt like you betrayed somebody because you didn't save them, help them, or contribute. You let me know when you find that moment.
I'm thinking of one. I don't know. Do you want me to say what?
Yeah, say it.
It was my grandparents came over to our home, and they were fighting my parents. And my mom told me to call the police, and then she told me to do various things to protect the family. And I was 9, and I felt like I did not know what to do.
Okay.
And I felt like somehow, I guess it was my fault that I couldn't move myself to make the call or do something to get the family to calm down.
What's good about this is she even picked, it was a grandparent that she felt betrayed by. It was also a grandparent that she felt she betrayed. We
Yeah.
only, go ahead.
Everybody's is the same group of people.
Okay. So we only perceive negative out there. We only project negative on others if we have it hidden within ourselves. She feels guilt for not contributing. So that also harbors. And that's also a zone 1 family related spot. Melissa, you tell me which spot you feel the most tender, okay? You tell me, here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Definitely.
Definitely 1. Everybody in here, if I checked you, you would be zone 1 because we're one collective unit. It's the sex and creative urge. There's much more to this story than you could even want to hear. We've slowly over the years, and she's slowly been able to speak about it. And she's worked it amazingly.
I don't have issues talking about it, just someone that's not considered
When we take the
honest
perceived
information.
trauma and turn it into a testimony, it's no longer trauma. We tell our testimony. And we spend a lot of time working with her to find the benefit. How did God use this as a testimony in her life? Once you see how God uses it, you no longer call it trauma. You no longer call it a trauma. You never have a trauma story because you see how it served. It built you, your family, your Christianity, who you are today. And guess what she's in her profession doing now?
She's a counselor.
She's a counselor. She's studying to be a licensed professional counselor. She wants to serve and help people. Where did that come from? Probably from her early childhood. So the trauma is now a blessing. It never was a trauma, even though any of us would agree that a satanic event where they killed her and mutilated her and did all kind of things to her, how would that not be trauma? No, it was used, it was served, it made her who she was now, it made her stand up and to be the person she had. Had she not went through that, she would not be this person that she is. It's taken some work. I agree, we would all say, that would take some work. Some people say forgiveness. No, it's forgiveness and forgiving. It's seeing it not as trauma, it's seeing it as blessing. There's never a trauma without a blessing. There's never a crisis without a blessing. We perceive it as trauma because we can't see what's all involved. Is there another moment that you can go to where you feel like you betrayed someone in some way or fashion? It could be the same type of people. It could be another event where you were asked to do something and you just didn't do it or couldn't do it. clearing out guilt and shame.
I think it would be maybe being bullied in school and not knowing what to say.
So you're,
And feeling like my lack of saying it made the situation worse.
right, because you didn't speak up, so thereby not speaking up, you felt like you betrayed others because you're not speaking up allowed it to be perpetuated.
Hi.
Yeah. All we're doing is in her mind, she perceives that she's done more harm than benefit. She perceives she's done more bad than good. That what she did was more of a disadvantage to advantage. So she's going to perceive people as betraying. Now, what's the biggest benefit in your life from that whole event that you suffered or that you went through as a kid?
Which one?
Let's just say from that whole event, that whole ritual, at the end of it all, when it was all done, what's one of the largest benefits that you've accumulated in life from that moment till now that allows you to see this as more of a blessing than a crisis? What's the greatest good that came out of all that these days?
I think one would be that God is healer.
God is what?
God is healer.
God is healer.
Um,
God healed you?
In a sense, it taught me safety.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is that by the time I was probably about like 10 or 11, I knew that my family wasn't safe. And I could tell that there was a difference between people who were safe and people, and like the discernment between safe and unsafe.
The discernment is the word.
And
That's okay. If we remind us when we have perceived crisis and see what the benefits were from that event, we now see it, we see it in hindsight, all the benefits that came out of that event. Because of that, this happened. Because of that, this happened. Because of that, I have discernment. Because of that, I have a close relationship with God. Because of that, I'm now counseling. Because of that, I'm helping others that have been in similar situations. Because of that, I've worked on my marriage. Because of that, I have great help for other families going through things. Because of that, I'm who I am today. Had it not been for that, I wouldn't be the person I am today. Same as you. It's all how we perceive it here. Because everyone would agree that that's terrible. Well, as long as we're telling that's a terrible story, we'll never come out of the event. We can tell the story over and over and over and over and over forever and never clear out the perception in the brain and see the other side. You can tell your story, or you can tell the testimonial out of the story. But sometimes we get too much benefit out of telling the story. And the story keeps us fixed.
Stuck.
It'll keep us stuck forever. You can do all the counseling you want, you may never recover because you keep telling the story. And then how we're the victim. We're never the victim, we're also the victor. And we're never just the victor.
We changed the story.
We change the story. We change our perception of the story. It's just a story. Not a good story, not a bad story, it's just a story. All right. So, I just wanted to give a brief, just her recalling it, just her saying that it's already on the way to restoring the glandular zone. She's also very creative. Out of her perceived trauma, she's an artist. A very brilliant artist, more brilliant than the world can even know and appreciate. The amount of work and effort and energy she puts into her art is mind-blowing. She had a gallery. It's just what she does is so genius, the world can't even catch up with what she does. The amount of hours and energy and time, it's unbelievable. And the world will have to wait. So she turned the creativity into helping others. But out of that came that, the creative. So out of that became your creative and loving person who you are. So with her, I'm just going to stimulate the nerve zone. I'm just gonna stimulate. There's a lot of ways we can adjust, but her art has healed her in so many ways, but nobody can appreciate that because they haven't went through what she's went through. Very few people can say she went through what she did. It was designed. Right. Melissa, you can sit up. And no one sees it for that. There's a genius, an absolute genius in what she does. Thank you. Okay, last minute questions before we go ahead and conclude. Any statements, any thoughts on any of that? JP, did you pick up on anything on?
Oh, what'd you have, Becky?
Okay, so, Dr. Bobbitt knows my story because I am his aunt, but just kind of give you a synopsis. My stepmother was killed in the Oklahoma City bombing. I went up there to be with my dad. Found out that nobody there knew he existed, so felt like mad. Of course, I was angry with him. I was hurt. Anyway, he continued to deny that he had children. Anyway, Dr. Bobbitt said, Jolene, I should thank you. I was kind of set back by that when I first heard that. And I really had to sit with that for a while before it settled. But I did realize that, just like you were talking, that it did make me a stronger person. It made me a better grandmother,
Yes.
parent, loving, understanding, present person.
Yep.
I love her.
I love her.
So that's my little
This,
love to you, George.
this is the same aunt. Her late husband used to whoop my butt. He would line up
Thank
her
God,
two
so
boys
good.
and me, and sometimes my other cousin. She'd line us, and doesn't matter who did what. Pat, 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 pat. All of us. No Dukes of Hazzard. It was abused.
No, you weren't. You were loved.
Traumatized.
How'd you benefit from it?
I love
Yeah,
you.
what was the benefit? Benefit?
I learned how to wear 3 pairs of undies. All right. So we're getting late. Anybody want to come? Oh, I was going to ask you.
Yep.
By the way,
Pick up.
I don't know if you know Dr. JP, but mostly she handles emotional healing. Extremely talented. So if there are things emotionally,
She's a great resource.
get with her, talk to her. That's what she does solely. She is a chiropractor, but she solely works on people. She has too many techniques. Where I'm mostly in the office physically adjusting most of the time, she's out there mentally and spiritually adjusting. So if you really need somebody, get her card, because that's what she does. She even has an office within our office, so she's not far. But did you have any insight on what you picked up off of either one of these young ladies? Just that you don't have to. I just was wondering if you picked
Yes or
up
no.
on something.
No, not really. I was just more observing. I was actually a little bit in shock that I was like, oh, that's a lot
Yeah, that's a lot.
for a person to deal with, period.
Mhm.
So we've had years to slowly unpack it.
Yep.
She's been, and we haven't done. It's just been in 30-minute increments, just as we meet when she does maintenance. But she's come a long way.
Yeah, to talk about that without breaking down,
Yeah.
like there's been tremendous healing.
Oh, yeah.
Period.
Anyone on this side before we close? Anything? Questions, comments? Thank you all for staying. I
Yes.
know it's a lot on the evening, but it's valuable, and hopefully each of you got something that stuck. Okay. Well, thank you.